Today is October 7th. Yesterday was October 7th. Tomorrow will be October 7th. For the past 2 years in Israel, every day is October 7th. They say time heals. It doesn't. It only creates distance, a greater longing for loved ones taken from us in such a brutal manner. Even those we never met, we never knew, became family. We missed the life we knew before October 7th. For on that terrible day, everything changed for everyone, forever. But the world, God, this fucking sick world, across the world, October 7th has been deleted, erased from memory as if it never happened. Pricks like the BBC's highest paid presenter at the time, Gary Lineker, who called it the Hamas thing. Gary, the Hamas thing was the greatest massacre of Jews since the Holocaust. In the UK, it would amount to 8,000 dead, 30,000 injured, 2,000 kidnapped. Imagine that happening at Glastonbury and the surrounding area, or at Burning Man. Then within hours, people pour into the streets, not with empathy, not to mourn, but to laud and celebrate the massacre. For the past 2 years, that's what we've seen. We struggle to comprehend how the mass slaughter of October 7th could be so easily dismissed. How women's groups could refuse to acknowledge the rape and sexual violence committed by Hamas. How the hostages held in Hamas dungeons, starved and tortured, could be forgotten. For 2 years, week after week, we watch full-blown hate fests on the world's streets and campuses. Crowds chanting for the destruction of Israel, for the death of Jews. False accusations of genocide and more in London, Paris, New York, elsewhere. Jew hatred is very much back in fashion. Dumbfounded would be an understatement. The sense of betrayal, you have no idea. Perhaps you could never understand. Maybe you had to be here on that terrible day to watch them bury your daughter's best friends who went to dance and never came home, to sit with a survivor who lay under a pile of bodies in a pool of blood for 7 hours, defying machine gun fire and exploding grenades. You tell him everyone is glad to see him alive and home, but you see in his eyes, he's not so sure. To smell the acrid stench of death in a bomb shelter by a bus stop where 40 scared partygoers crammed into a space made for 10, but terrorists turned it into a slaughterhouse. Only 11 escaped with their lives. You cannot fathom the evil of a man who will violently rape a young woman, shoot her in the head, and continue to violate her. How do you process a group of men who slice off a woman's breasts and play catch with them before executing her? Or men who use a garden hoe to savagely behead a helpless man lying on the floor? What about those who will torture children in front of their parents and parents in front of their children before burning whole families alive? These people, these monsters who you cannot fathom, cannot process, and don't want to think about, they are our neighbours. More than 5,000 of them broke into our homes and perpetrated these atrocities. That is why we fight, and that is why we must win. Why we must defeat Hamas and other terrorist groups in Gaza so as they can never again cross our border to rape, mutilate and butcher. We don't indulge in victimhood. We don't have that luxury. Communities that were wiped out are rising again from the ashes. Parents who lost their own children lead the fight to bring the hostages home. Soldiers fighting at the front attend funerals for their friends, then go straight back to fighting. We're exhausted. We're broken in places, but unbent. We choose life. Golda Meir said it best. If we have to choose between being dead and pitied or alive with a bad image, we'd rather be alive. Hamas said clearly they would repeat October 7th again and again. We take them at their word. That's why we fight. To bring the hostages home, to protect our families, to end this nightmare. Yes, Gaza suffers, no one denies it. But Hamas could end this nightmare. They could have ended it at any time in the past 2 years by simply releasing all hostages and laying down arms. Instead, they chose to brutalise, exploit and sacrifice ordinary Gazans. And that's on them. When this war finally ends, when the hostages are home, when Israelis can finally breathe again, the healing can begin and we can finally move on. But it won't be thanks to the world. It will be in spite of it. That's what it feels like here in Israel. 2 years on, every day is still October the 7th.